Hello, my people. Good day to you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time zone you're listening to this, thank you for tuning in every single day to listen to me on Daily Mind Shift. My name is Michael Ujuala for Mindset Transformation Africa, and on today's episode of Daily Mind Shift, I want to talk about speaking from a pure heart. Let me anchor today's episode on this statement. Speak from a pure heart, and what you will say will undoubtedly speak for itself. Always speak from a pure heart, and what you will say will undoubtedly speak for itself. That is what I wanted to talk about. This world is filled with calculated speeches. I call some filtered captions. You have scripted conversations and rehearsed appearances. It is becoming harder and harder to hear someone just speak from a place of purity, from a place of pure motive. It is not about optics for those type of people. It is not even about the applause they will get. It is definitely not about manipulation or trying to get something out of other people, but simply about the truth from the inside out. So today, it's about this thought it's simple to hear, I believe, but it is difficult for us to live by it. It is easy to say something that sounds good, but it is a different story when what you say actually is good, because it came from a clean place within you. So let's be honest, all right? We all know what it feels like to be talked at instead of talked to. There is a coldness in words that are spoken from pride, from pressure, or from pretense. And then there is a warmth, a resonance, a connection, a vibe, a quiet power in words that rise from a clean, honest, and peaceful heart. We've all been in conversations where we leave that particular conversation saying that this doesn't feel right, even if the words themselves were technically correct. We've also walked away from someone and thought, that person just understood me. That person just saw me, and they didn't even say too much words. What is the difference that we notice? I believe it is that the heart behind the words. There is a heart behind those words. It's not about the eloquence. It's not about the diction. It's not about the phonics. It's not the volume. It's not even the vocabulary. It is the energy underneath the words, the motive, the posture of the spirit. When your heart is clean, your words don't have to be forced. You don't need to push them. They carry their own weight. They land with grace, they linger with clarity, and they speak for themselves. Let me put it plainly. Your words are never disconnected from your heart. Whatever you rehearse in your heart eventually will come out of your mouth. If your heart is soaked in bitterness, your speech will leak out with resentment. Even when you are smiling, people will sense the resentment behind what you are saying, because your heart is filled with bitterness. If your heart is obsessed with being recognized, your words will bend towards applause. Even when you are pretending to be humble, your words will bend towards getting the accolades you think you deserve. If your heart is ruled by fear, your voice will sound like control. Even when you're trying to help, people will sense it, that behind your offer for help is the fear that you're losing control. See, you don't have to look far to know this is true. Just think about someone who constantly complains. That is not a mouth problem. That is a heart issue. Think about someone who gossips without restraint. That is not just a tongue problem. That is a soul that is leaking. The mouth is just the messenger. The heart is the headquarters. So, if you want to speak better, clean your heart first. You cannot plant jealousy and expect your words to bloom with grace. You can't entertain deception and expect your voice to carry truth. Let me just clarify this. When I say pure, it doesn't mean perfect. It doesn't mean you never struggle. It doesn't mean you won't get frustrated or have strong opinions. It doesn't even mean you water things down or speak softly. No, a pure heart is one that is free from hidden agendas, free from manipulation, free from the poison of pride or the infection of insecurity. To speak from a pure heart means that you are not trying to one up another person. You are not trying to impress anybody. You are not trying to control any narrative. You are not trying to punish someone through your passive words. You are not trying even to win anybody's approval. You are just being honest, clean, real, authentic, honest. When your motive is love, your message carries light. When your goal is to bring clarity, your communication brings calm. When your intention is truth, your tone won't sabotage it. Do you understand me? It won't. See, let me just say this. How do you test if your heart is pure before you speak? The first thing I think you should think about is asking yourself, am I speaking from love or fear? I believe love speaks to connect with other people. Fear speaks to protect itself. If you're trying to dominate, to outsmart, to guilt someone, you may need to pause, all right? Because fear might be driving your tongue. Another question you need to ask yourself to know the place of your heart is, am I speaking for the other person's growth or for my personal gain? Is your insight meant to serve them or to show off that you know what you're talking about? If you're only talking to feel needed or feel important, check your heart posture. All right, check the motive behind your words. And also ask yourself, am I saying this because it is true or because I am triggered and all that? You need to ask yourself. See, your feelings are valid. They are valid, but they are not always accurate. You need to understand the two. Your feelings are very valid and nobody should discount it. But you need to also understand and be humble enough to acknowledge that they are not always accurate. Purity doesn't mean you are suppressing your emotions. It means you are filtering your emotion through wisdom before you open your mouth and speak. You need to learn also how to be still. One habit that can change everything is for you to get still before you speak. Take a breath, pause, check in with yourself and ask yourself this question. What is going on in my heart right now? If your heart is agitated, angry, insecure, or manipulative, do not speak yet. Wait. Let that emotional storm settle. All right? Stillness will purify you. Stillness allows your heart to sit with truth. Stillness aligns your heart with truth. Stillness makes sure that your words come from wholeness, not from wounds. All right? Let me remind you of this. You are not just responsible for what you say, you are responsible for the spirit behind what you say. Let me say that one more time. You are not just responsible for what you say, you are responsible for the spirit behind what you say. So the question now is, what happens when you speak from a pure heart? I know that when your heart is clean, you don't have to over-explain yourself. Your words carry their own weight. People feel it. Even when they don't agree, they trust you. Even when you challenge them, they feel safe with you. Pure-hearted speech brings clarity. People stop second-guessing your intention. There is no fog, no guessing game. Your yes means yes, your no means no. Then it brings healing. Words from a clean heart can land in a wounded soul and start repair work. You may never know it, but someone's weight got lighter because of your peace-filled presence. And then you win respect. People can feel the integrity of your tone. You earn credibility, not by trying to sound smart, but by sounding sincere. Then your influence grows. Let me just say this clearly. The most powerful people don't yell. They can be loud, but they don't yell. You need to understand the difference. They speak with a stillness that silences noise. They speak with truth that disarms pretenders. The truth that only comes from purity. See, there is a pressure in today's world to package your words perfectly. Craft your captions, curate your responses, make everything sound just right. But here's the hard truth that I want you to take away today. It is possible to polish your words and still speak from a toxic heart. It is possible to say the right thing with the wrong energy. And that is why this is not about just getting better at communication. It is about getting better at purification. Let me leave you with this. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to defend every opinion to be respected. You don't need to compete to be credible. Speak from a